Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living.
Camp Wyoming began in 1960 as a place to nourish a life of faith and serve as a valuable resource for people of all ages to experience Christ in a setting complementary to the church. Camp offers this experience in a positive and uplifting environment. In the summer camp program, college-age staff help children and youth explore, learn, and appreciate their God-given gifts and talents. This opportunity subsequently helps children learn how to use their skills to become leaders within their church and their community. Camp Wyoming's retreat ministry serves as a resource for churches to train and support their pastors, elders, and confirmation students with the hope to further their connection with God and to find deeper meaning in their call. The story of Camp Wyoming has many chapters and includes numerous accounts of people growing in their faith, experiencing Christian community, and strengthening their commitment to God's ministry. The following story is a chapter in the history of Camp Wyoming, which demonstrates how God worked through one family to ensure future generations would enjoy the same wonderful experience at Camp Wyoming, just as they did. In 2007, Camp Wyoming was faced with the reality that too few major infrastructure changes had been done to the site and facilities over the years. At that time, the camp board initiated a capital campaign to address these facility issues. The camp renovated many of its facilities to lift up Camp Wyoming as a place where the active pursuit of God's generous gift of salvation would be conducted in a healthy and safe year-round Presbyterian spiritual facility. The vision was clear: improve the facilities and develop the program to compete in today's market while remaining true to the original calling that Camp Wyoming serve as a place set apart from one's busy life to hear the voice of God. Yet, there still remained one glaring issue that had not been addressed since the camp was started. The two-room administration building was located in the basement of the camp director's home. This made it difficult to ensure a welcoming place for guests, as well as provide a private residence for the year-round staff member. At an open house in April 2007, John and Ruth Morris met with the camp director, Kevin Cullum, and discussed the plans for a new administration building. John Morris was an original member of the Camp Wyoming Board of Directors. He helped pioneer this camp and retreat ministry because he and others saw it as a place where young people could grow in their faith by learning how to apply what they learned at camp into their daily lives. John and the other individuals who started the camp lived out God's call in the same manner that Jeremiah did when he bought the field. Jeremiah chapter 32 tells the story of the prophet Jeremiah, who was commanded by God to buy a field in Jerusalem, though the Babylonian king would soon besiege the city. God's call made no sense. Jerusalem was about to be lost. The nation of Israel was to be scattered. And yet God was telling Jeremiah to buy a field. Jeremiah obeyed and purchased the land as an act of hope that God could bring about what seemed impossible and was beyond the dreams of any of his people. God did bring the nation of Israel home again to Jerusalem, and God started a ministry through John Morris and the other individuals who founded Camp Wyoming. John understood that sometimes God's plans are bigger than one person can ever dream. John and his wife Ruth were committed Christians who served in various missionary roles to help train young people, both in America and internationally, to farm their land and strengthen their ministry within the communities they helped build and support. They wanted to pass along their wisdom and faith to their family and other brothers and sisters in Christ all over the world. John and Ruth lived out this belief in their commitment to Camp Wyoming and remained steadfast in their support of the camp since it started in 1960. John and Ruth were also deeply invested in their family, their son Dave and daughter Marilyn, and their many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. John and Ruth wanted to ensure that each member of their family felt loved and had the necessary education to live out and fulfill their dreams. John and Ruth also showed their family how to serve others and apply their faith in a practical and selfless way. In doing so, they encouraged their family to learn and follow God's plan for their lives and supported their participation in Camp Wyoming and church-related programs. In any story, there are always twists and turns that God places in the path to strengthen belief in the purpose and in oneself. On December 18, 2007, John Morris passed away. Less than 3 years later, Ruth Morris, John's wife of 59 years, died on June 6, 2010. Their children Dave Morris and Marilyn Max stood up and took the torch to fulfill John and Ruth's promise to build a new welcome center and continue to support the ministry at Camp Wyoming. As the camp explored the cost for constructing a traditional facility, the camp board came across the financial challenge of fulfilling John and Ruth's dreams. Their dream for camp was a functional, low-maintenance, and aesthetically appealing welcome center that would help drive the vision for camp. To realize the dream, it required someone to step up and serve in a manner greater than anyone thought possible. In the book of Chronicles, King David commissioned Solomon to build the temple to honor God. Solomon then sought the gifts and talents of the people of Israel. Over 2,000 years later, God worked through the Reverend George Jayden, who then helped lead the purchase of farmland that eventually became Camp Wyoming. His future son-in-law, Bill Collette, would fill the role of Solomon and serve God using his gifts as well as the gifts of others to build some of the facilities at Camp Wyoming where the purpose was to honor and worship God. Bill Collette has served in many roles at Camp Wyoming. He was the assistant manager in the mid-1970s for Camp Wyoming as he supported the day-to-day development of the program and facilities with Harlan P.J. Johnston, the first official camp director. Bill would eventually take on a job as the outdoor education director for the Bettendorf Community School District. During his tenure, he would take school groups to Camp Wyoming to share his knowledge of the outdoors and provide an experiential education for young people that only camp could provide. Bill was also a very skilled craftsman. In the 1990s, he rebuilt Robin Cabin, which had burned down. He also constructed 2 new tree houses to provide unique accommodations for teenage summer campers. When Bill learned of the challenges facing the construction of the new office, he volunteered his services to the camp to fulfill the job of general contractor for the construction of a new welcome center. He would build a facility alongside his trusted friend, Terry Muhlenberg, a fellow Bettendorf school teacher. Of course, with any project of this size, volunteers from the Camp Wyoming community step forward to lend their support. Men like Dave Marshall and Jim Eggert were integral in helping with the construction of this project. John and Ruth's granddaughter, Sarah Theresa, and son-in-law, George Max, came out to camp one week and helped build the new Welcome Center. This was yet another symbol of the Morris family fulfilling the promise of John and Ruth. In May of 2011, the site was cleared and prepared for the construction of the new John and Ruth Morris Welcome Center. There was tremendous enthusiasm and excitement for this new project. The construction process included clearing and preparing the site, laying the foundation, laying the road and parking lot, installing the trusses and walls, installing doors and windows, laying the roof and gutters, installing geothermal heating and cooling, insulating the ceiling and walls, putting up drywall, painting, building of the entranceway, plumbing, installation of the flooring, donations of the furnishings, a new phone system and wireless internet, construction of the deck, laying of the patio. We also want to thank the contractors who were involved in the construction of the John and Ruth Morris Welcome Center. A&A Construction, Soper Plumbing, Meany Septic, Delaney Concrete, Midwest Telecom, Feeker Painting, and TMS Services. We are grateful for their craftsmanship and patience throughout the project. The new John and Ruth Morris Welcome Center is a wonderful facility that will support the continued growth of the summer camp and retreat ministry here at Camp Wyoming, where future generations will experience the love of Christ in a beautiful outdoor setting. The Camp Board of Directors and the Presbytery of East Iowa want to thank the family of John and Ruth Morris for the many years of service and commitment to the Camp Wyoming ministry.
On behalf of East Iowa Presbytery and as a member of the Camp Wyoming Board, thank you.
Thank you!
Thank you.
Thank you!
Thank you, John and Ruth. We are so grateful for the blessing that you have been to the Camp Wyoming ministry.